Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I am so filled with inspiration and joy and wow and love today. I am so excited to get started today. And for all of you who are tuning in already, those who may join us later, and those who catch it whenever, God bless you. Thank you. I'm in this place today where it's like, holy cows, man. That's just, wow. Praise God. That's where I'm at today. So, brothers and sisters, I honestly have no clue where today's stream is going to go. I got so many ideas in so many directions. But hey, prepare yourself. Let's get comfortable for church, right? A little worship, praise, discussions of the Almighty. And you. Here, I'm in a great mood too, if you can't tell. Having some fun with the images too. Talcott 2024. That idea was I've seen it in the comments in the chat, so it wasn't my idea, but got my mind going. So I did. I heard there's an opening for a more moral president of the U.S. candidate to emerge, and so my own path and what I'm going to invite you for, what you in to do as well, is to dream big. Dream big for you, as you, with you, starting today. Why not? So dream big to find your part in the solutions for our world. And what if you could find out that life was actually pretty simple? What if all of these things could come together perfectly, like with just some realization, some aha moment? I think it's possible. I've experienced things for myself that brought me to this place and where we are today. I want to introduce you to my best friend. And let you in on some of the things that I've been learning about my best friend, who I call God. Just where you get started, man. Holy cows. Praise God. Start right there. Praise God. The God that allows us to live. And for nature to work. For everything to be unfolded perfectly with time and form. And there's so many perspectives of it. We're a part of something pretty amazing, man. It's all part of God's plans. And we're a part of this. So the topic today and the idea of having conversations with a candidate like Donald Trump. I don't want to debate in a competition. I'd like to exchange some ideas. I'd like to share some perspectives on morals and values. With a man like him, I think that might benefit the world, right? And what I'm encouraging people to do is, starting today, commit to yourself. Commit to yourself that you're going to get out of your own way. and you're going to return to honor and respect and love. Why? Because you can, and because the world deserves it. Our world deserves better than what humanity has been accomplishing. I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in these ideas. You know, and this, while I'm talking about God, I don't know God's plans. I've got some ideas on God's humor, on God's perfection, on God's power, control. I believe it's time for wars to end because the solution is so simple. It is so, so simple. For every one of us to return to honor and respect and to love, to become holy and pure and good in our lives. Hello. What if it's as simple as defeating the devil within? Because, see, whatever the world presents outside of our physical being, whatever the world presents, it's all information and data. It has no meaning except what we assign it to. And all the labels and definitions, they've just been passed down through time and developed, and they've emerged and they've been agreed upon, the language, right? I don't remember making a choice to learn English when I was a child, but hey, here I am. And I don't understand people when they're from other parts of the world. That wasn't part of my experience. I mean, I experienced a lot of people, but my language skills were developed in just this one, primarily. God is so amazing. I was observing my intention to stay accurate in my words with respect for the truth, because I don't want to misspeak or deceive or exaggerate, particularly about myself. Boy, I'm way off topic. I told you, man, I'm feeling great today. I am feeling so good today. And blessings sincerely to all of you who are already here, man. Holy cows. Blessings sincerely. I don't want to miss anyone, but I know I didn't. You know, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling inspired. I do have intentions of opening up the panel, and I even went and unblocked a couple of people from the chat. I am truly feeling filled with love. Because, see, back to the point in the topic, right? Introducing you to my best friend, God. The humor that I found today is in the simplicity. It's in the obvious. If you want a better life for yourself, overcome the devil within you. That which is unchrist-like from you is impure. It's a corruption. It's something you chose or you allowed, or by God's plans, you became a part of you in the past. But we don't have to continue these behaviors of fighting and manipulating, arguing. We don't have to do that anymore. See, that's the devil. The devil inside of us is what drives our anger, our fears, makes us lust and, focus on the material things, missing out on the true glory of life. It's the devil that makes the world hell. And that's a concept, okay? I'm making no blame. It's just the oppositional force, that which opposes life, growth, love, all the good things, that which corrupts. It's a perfect plan. It's so amazing, the life we've been given. I mean, sincerely, praise God. God is so glorious. And this life I've been living, it's been such an adventure. I mean, I truly feel like I'm dreaming because I have no worries. I have no problems. I face the devil inside me. God won. Because that's what I was realizing, man. People spend lifetimes battling the devil, all the enemies they imagine and create through karma and, the repetitions of life. You can spend lifetimes finding enemies, facing demons, believing you can win over the darkness on your own. What I found the best and the most simple, surrender to God. Surrender to the probability, the likelihood. I mean, I can't say accurately what God's will is because I can only imagine. But what if God's will for you is happiness, joy, peace, abundance, health, prosperity? What if that is God's will for you? And because we've been so misdirected and so misinformed, confused, miseducated, people have been battling enemies outside without realizing that's all within. Every enemy we face is one we imagine and create for ourselves. And every battle can be won, lost, or surrendered. We can walk away from enemies. We can walk away from friends. We can walk away whenever we choose, if God allows. I mean, it all depends, I guess. But what I found in my own life experience, I decided to take particularly the red letter words out of the Bible, the words that are recorded from Jesus. And I chose to take those seriously. I am so glad that I did. I am so glad that I did. Because our God is so good. I was considering the world of today, the politics, the wars, the economic disparity, all the misinformation in the news, and all the propaganda, all the lies. Why is it? Why is it that mankind around the world is choosing to serve the devilish forces, choosing to serve selfishness? It makes no sense. It makes no sense, no logical sense whatsoever when you accept that as a fact. See, it had to have been the devil, right? The devil, whatever force or reality, everything is true, can be true, particularly on different perspectives. And I don't know God's perspective. I was praying for that earlier today. I was trying to imagine God's perspective. How do you imagine a perspective that is just infinite and beyond anything you can imagine? Only by God's grace. And then I'm thinking about the obvious. It's only by God's grace that new ideas, new realizations are found. It's only by God's grace we surrender or win. All results, all opportunities are created by forces greater than ourselves. We just find them. We find the problems, we find the solutions, we find the enemies, we find the friends. It doesn't matter, except to you, the individual, and the world that experiences you, the individual. That's who it matters to. I really don't think it matters to God. I mean, I was considering some of the things I've learned about the past, and there's that saying that's credited to Aleister Crowley, do what thou wilt, do as thou whatever. It's do as you want, basically. Someone remembers it, but yeah, it probably is God's will that we do what we want. And we can either serve God or serve ourselves. Serve the devil or serve others. Selfishness is the way of, the story. People know the story of Lucifer, the beautiful angel that chose to divide the angels and create a war because thought it was good enough to replace the Almighty. That was for us to learn from, right? And so, as it said, the fallen angels, those battling and demonic forces, come down here to corrupt mankind. We were warned. God is so brilliant. and so then somewhere along the way, before you and I were born, people convinced people that it costs money to live. That's fucking crazy, man. That's gotta be the devil. It's gotta be the devil that convinces people to deny people life, freedom, liberty, compassion, mercy. That's the devil inside. The devil of unforgiveness, the devil of confusion, the devil of arrogance, the devil of pride. The devil of pride there's a great example right there, my brothers and sisters. And I don't know God's plans, but I'd like to help Mr. Trump realize some things about himself. Maybe help him process some realizations on pride and arrogance. What true leadership could be. What true leadership could be if mankind wasn't continually enabling poor leadership. A mankind continuing to allow wars to continue. There's this time in history, there's if this is real and not a dream, outside of me, there's genocide, evidence of genocide happening right now, today. And it hasn't been stopped. It's been endorsed by confused people. Allegedly, they're being compensated by people who pay, the lobbyists. We've got people in government making piss poor decisions. Don't you think? Don't you think it's time for us to do better? Here's how to do better. From my experience, humble yourself to God. It's easy to do if you try and you allow God to be glorious and divine and perfect and in control of everything, and not just accepting of you as you are, even despite the stupid things you've done, despite the stupid habits. What if God still loves you and wants you to be happy and wants you to live in a better world, a world with more honor, more respect, more love? I truly believe it's possible. Because truly, our entire lives are based off of our mind vision. The sight of mind is our perspective on life and everything that is. If you humble yourself to the fact that you can only experience right now, and if you can accept science for science, right? Just descriptions of things pointing at things, But according to like the EKGs and all these methods of science, of modern, just taken for granted, the stuff in the hospitals, all we are is like electrical signals and magnetic pulses and chemical reactions. Everything we experience, flavor, sound, all of that, it's interpretations of information, vibrations, right? Different senses. And it's only experienced in the moment. So get lost in the moment with your experience of you and accept that it's pretty special. It's pretty fucking special to be alive. I mean, there's lots and lots of people dead. I mean, history is full of dead people. And yet here we are. Holy cows, man. See, my thoughts today have truly, they have been in love of God. Just absolute delight and love of God and what God has allowed me to envision in my mind. It's like, holy cows, praise God. It's so simple, so obvious. Once you see it, the way to know your humility. Oh, here, overcoming the devil within, right? What is the devilish ways? It's divided, it's warring, it's combative, it's competing, right? The devilish ways are selfish. Don't be selfish. It's really that simple. Become willing to serve when the opportunity arises. Just like that. Be willing to explore the work that other people are doing towards making a better world for you and me and everybody. There's a lot of people that are working towards corrupting the world, towards fighting for the old ways. There's a lot of people working in just so, man, it's so chaotic and disordered because mankind's been corrupted. It's time for people today to expect more from ourselves and maybe others too. Because I expect more out of the people who are compensated in Congress, in the White House, the UN. I expect people to prove their worth, show their worth for what they're compensated for, to include these overpaid friggin' CEOs who are exploiting their workers and friggin' totally destroying nations. It's all under it's all under enabling people, good-hearted people who pretend not to see what's really happening in the world. Praise God, praise God, praise God. Because see, when I humble myself to this idea, to realize within myself, this is God's life for me that I get to experience any way that I want. How do I want to experience my life now that I know it? Love. That's the only thing I want to do. It's everything else is pointless. So so if you can't find something outside you to love, love your body. Oh, what if, from your perspective and your experience, what if your physical body and God are one and the same? Like you're supposed to love yourself like God, maybe humbly and honestly and nutritionally, health wise, wisely, right? Love yourself compassionately, love yourself truly. That's how God loves, I'm sure. I mean, I can only assume, but oh, humbling myself to God's power, God's glory, God's perfection. Um, and Jesus and all the other examples. And I mean, it all comes down to God. I mean, it's just I can accept that the world is perfect the way that it is at this moment. And when I can overcome the devil within myself by surrendering my battle to God, to unite myself with God and the strength and the confidence and the will that God has given me to overcome, when I unite myself with that will to overcome, you do that, you're unstoppable. But it doesn't come from you, it comes from God. By all things, it's by the grace of God we know anything. It's by the grace of God anything happens. So what do we want to do with that grace? I suggest we share it. I suggest we find ways to make peace, to lead the devil inside into different directions, right? That's the way to overcome it. Follow the way of Jesus. You lead those in darkness into the light. Do that for yourself. If you overcome the devil within yourself and you accept the world as perfect just as it is, I bet you'll feel like me and you'll be ready to face the world's corruption yourself. You beat the devil inside you, what's holding you back? Nothing. You unite yourself with the perspectives of the infinite, the reality of infinite potentiality. You humble yourself to what's real about you and the world you live in, you'll be ready to end the wars yourself, within yourself, with your neighbors, with whoever you've chosen to be at odds with. And I think I've covered what I was going with. I'm going to go ahead and open up the opportunities for others to join. I am filled with faith, and to me this is church. I follow the Prince of Peace. There's many people who call themselves Christians who are at war with themselves and the world they live in. Right? All these people have imagined all these battles they got to take on. Hey, is a guest, another man of peace. Let me bring him right up. Welcome, Hank. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great. So I sent you an email. I got this idea from King Philip with an F. Um, so I know there's people who say we can't end wars. So my idea is to build a war request form for the people who make that claim. So because I assume that they just want more wars. So I want to show them via the actuary tables how much the war is going to cost. So I need to
Hey,
build an app. So
I love it, Hank. I love it. For those people who are against the idea of wars ending, they need to realize what they're thinking. That's how the devil works. People don't think their thoughts through to what they choose. Hey, we've got a man who has been pretending. We've got a couple of guests. I'm going to not make them wait. Welcome, Rampage. Dawson. Welcome, Browns boy. We've also got a man who's been pretending to have a battle with me for a while. Mr. Snafu is in the back. I want to welcome you guys first. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. Hey, Hank, I went for that swim earlier.
excellent.
Doing
Beautiful.
pretty good. I heard Hank had he was trying to make some solution. But when I was like loading up, I didn't hear it.
Yeah, so there's people who claim that we won't end the wars. So I'm gonna make a war request form. So because I assume those people want to have war, so I want to show them how much it's gonna cost them via actuary tables, and just let them request what weapons they want and who to invade or so. Because war is very expensive, and I want them to see what the bill's gonna be.
Well, it's not it's well beyond just the economic cost. There's a spiritual cost. People are living in misery and fear and hate right now because of the way the world is. And here, I mean no disrespect to the others. I'm going to see if Mr. Snafu has any interest in walking away from any battles with me. Welcome, Snafu.
Jesus.
I think you broke up, at least on my end. I didn't quite hear what you said besides Jesus.
That's all we need.
Yep, that's all we need, Officer Snaps.
Yeah, he's a robot now.
This is the best he sounded in years. Let's give it in, Officer Snaps.
Hey, Snafu, go back and listen to how you sounded. You're roboting, and you don't yield long enough to even notice how you're coming across.
You agree with me. This is the best he sounded in years.
It is the best.
So, Officer Snaps, I sent you an email. I saw it when I was on Gone Trucking with HB2N and John Gold. It's an article. Feds sue migrant shelter nonprofit over severe sexual abuse and rape of children. I sent it to you because you're interested in that thing. Hopefully, you could do a video on that because it seems in your area of concern. So, I sent you a neat bill.
I hope
yeah.
Go ahead, Hank.
Yeah, I gotta drop it in the chat so he could catch it again just in case he didn't get my email.
Please. Thank you. There is so many bad things, horrible things being perpetuated today out of anger, out of fear, out of allowing the devil, allowing demons and confusion and fear and hate to move people. That's what creates wars. I mean, traumatized children have been happening at the regarding the borders on America, right? All of these migrants, there's children that are being traumatized, separated from their mothers and fathers. There's like human trafficking that's been going on. And all of these traumatized children, guess what? They grow up without treatment. They grow up into traumatized adults who find a lot of enemies and a lot of wars, seeking revenge, living with hate. That reminds me, I meant to bring that up. A local company, a local company here around Spokane. I think they came up with that graphic, and I've been wearing a button with that for a few years now. Hate can be overcome. Seriously, when each of us look at our hate objectively, we'll realize there's no reason. Every reason we hate, every reason we love, we make it up. We believe what we want. I mean, there's spiritual truths beyond that, but we explain to ourselves. We make up our own reasons. We make up our own answers. We accept what is and is not real. We can accept what is and is not important. So what if it is important how you feel? What if God's will for you is for you to feel good about the life you've been given? and everything that you've been able to learn from and overcome. It's really, were you jumping in?
Yeah. So I believe I can still hate scammers and still wish the best for them, because they're just doing just really bad things, tricking people out of their money and time. So I can still hate them, but wish the best for them, which is them turning back from their ways and becoming legit.
Can I offer a way to overcome hate, even in that example?
Yeah,
'Cause
you can.
if you allow yourself to understand, because then you can really be honest about, you can love them as they are if you can understand why they do what they do, or why they might
Empathize.
do what they do. Yep,
I
empathy,
can.
compassion.
Yeah, I can have compassion on them, but I'm still gonna have to destroy them because they're hurting people's. So
Ooh, okay. Well, what about this though? We can spend our time and attention on destruction or on creation. We can walk away and allow God to handle the battles, the results. We can, let me not paint that too
before
broad.
creation, there is destruction.
We get to choose which parts we play. The devil wants destruction and division.
Yes,
Now,
and who made the devil?
how about this? Would you rather see them punished or changed, like they transform?
It's the same thing.
Mm,
Screaming.
see, this is where my perspective is different. I do not really endorse or believe in punishment. I believe in correction. Correction comes through, sometimes some tough, very firm love. But the best way to transform someone's behavior from that which we don't want is to educate them and to support them so they can become better than they were.
No, sometimes people
Yes,
are like teachable in that way, and I always give someone a chance. Sometimes people also can't change. Sometimes people are, I would say, toxic, and sometimes you just have to let them be and let them. Sometimes they just go and figure it out on their own.
yeah, but I think scam creators are doing the right thing and feeding them their own medicine.
I stopped drinking in the question, how long have you been sober? I stopped drinking in, it's either March or May of 2016. Can't remember. I think I got it written down somewhere, but it's been about 8 years or so. Oh, thank you for that reminder. Brothers and sisters, I mentioned, I want to introduce you to God, our best friend. And some of the things I've been learning in my perspectives of God is how simple and obvious some things are. I was considering addictions, right? And I heard this pointed out elsewhere, and it just makes perfect sense. If you want to break an addiction, anything that is not in your experience, it's not a choice. So choose not to experience the things that have been holding you back. Choose not to experience the devils of anger or self-limitation in you. That is the way to fill yourself with love, man. Walk away from that which is impure, that which is untrue. And if we can walk away from battles realizing, hey, I don't need to feel hate. I don't need to bring punishment. I need to create a better world. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, I am actively, seriously trying to find a way to get in front of the members of the United States Congress today. If this is real and not a dream, I want to see what God will let me get away with in this world that has been allowed to be run by the devil.
Do you think of someone who's toxic? Do you think someone who's toxic can change and not be toxic? Have you ever seen that before?
I won't label them as toxic, but yes, I know that behavior. And I've heard many testimonies that some people will not change. Okay. I know I trust God controls all things, and in the past that may have been true, but I've been learning, I have witnessed transformations. People go like that, right? Through different breathing techniques, guided meditation. I experienced something like that myself. People can transform. Yes, that's my faith, at least.
Okay, yeah, because sometimes there's difficult people, and sometimes I can kind of teach them and bring them in the right direction. They'll change, and then sometimes they don't. And then I just go and accept it and let them learn their lessons. But yeah, so that gives me some hope. It's just good to ask around and learn how to have more empathy towards people.
I love that, brother. And you said something else I was reminded of. In our life, we can either focus on the past and on the memories, or we can try and learn new information each day. And if you think your thoughts through, when you think about what is real, all we are is an experience of this moment, and this moment and all the past contains information, data.
Mm-hmm.
We're logic and data processors, energetic and spiritual. But we have within us, I trust and believe, the powers of Christ, right? Powers of healing, powers of incredible faith. Ooh. We have not discovered what mankind can accomplish because many people have been holding themselves back and relying on negative opinions from the world. Rampage, I love the questions you're at, your awareness and where your path is at. There's something magical happening on Earth with us right now.
Yep.
And hey, that compassion, allowing people to be in their patterns and to stay in their denial. Sometimes we walk away, but I like to give time, and then I'd like to try again. I keep circling back on ideas. So, but part of growing up is we've got to learn to accept. Mm-hmm. Got to be willing to walk away, right? And that's actually what I want to convince the world to do. Starting with the people representing the United States. I'd like to speak to Congress and any other leaders in the free world, right? Leaders and free are both words that people should be considering more, and they're open to interpretation, clearly.
Now, I'm primarily a music channel, and so I guess I've been starting to talk about other topics. Oh, hold on one second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've been starting to talk about other topics and kind of branching out and spreading my wings. I just want to make sure I'm always in the right kind of headspace or the right frame. I don't have a lot of experience, but I want to learn.
That's what life is about. We learn and grow each day, and each day we get to choose what we offer to the world. and we choose what we allow ourselves to receive from the world. But if you look at all the science and stuff, and it's really just patterns of logic and reasoning. Gosh, I believe that anyone can understand, because I was considering this myself. I'm confident. I don't think I'm different than anyone else, but I'm confident that I can learn anything if given the information and the support to understand. I can understand anything.
Yeah.
So can everyone else. And so it seems to me that it should be pretty easy to understand that a world that is not protecting legal secrets and enabling lies, if secrets and lies were no longer like the norm of the day, our world would transform like that. Because we've got all the technology, even with, if you go to the digital technology, the blockchain, whatever it is, as long as it's truly honest with honor, respect, and love, if it's truly in service of the greatest good, mankind has the ideas. We can create a way where it's not just a few people who have access to all the wealth. I mean, that's absolute insanity. It's because people believe in lies. All of us know.
And what's the topic today?
Oh, the topic is, well, the underlying topic every day, to be honest, is God. And but today it was return to honor, respect, and love, right? To return ourselves to that way. We return ourselves to being with honor, respect, and love when we don't play around with the devil inside.
Well, one of the ways I've been doing that is getting some exercise. I just got outside today, and what people can do is just do little small things each day, and they can grow and move in the positive direction.
Absolutely. Well, part of this, though, too, part of the topic in the thumbnail today, it's a little bit of fun, but it's also a little bit of truth. It sounds like there was an opening for a more moral and healthy POTUS candidate to emerge. So why not? I never know who's going to tune in. You never know what's going to happen. I'd like to speak to Donald Trump about this election and such. Which actually reminds me of a different direction this could go. Are you guys familiar with Marianne Williamson by chance?
I heard of her.
I haven't heard of her. No.
Yeah, she was online today or on the news earlier, and she's running as a Democrat, but she's a candidate that I think should get some more attention. And frankly, I'd also like to speak with her myself if possible, because she knows a lot about the corruption and the problems with the divisions and all and stuff. Her and I align on a lot of things. But I don't believe she understands the corruption that's built into the systems as well as I do. So,
oh, hey guys, I just got home. I gotta get going. Great chat today, and we'll catch up soon.
All right, brother. Thank you for joining. And we've actually got another guest here that I'm not familiar with.
Hey,
It's Jess. 28?
Yeah, we have it. I think it's Jess. I put it under there. If you want to, you need to see me, or
No, I trust you. You're here with good intentions.
Yeah, I've
Oh,
been on. I've been on Tomatoes panel. I've been on
Oh, hey, Jess. We talked
Rose
before.
panel. Hey, Dawson. Me and Dawson are like we're good. We're not friends, but we're good panel friends, right, Dawson?
Yep.
He's a good. He's a sweet
Peace.
guy. Hey, and I don't think I've ever talked to Hank though, but I've seen him on panels.
You have not talked to me yet.
Yeah, but I've seen you. How you doing, guys?
I'm doing excellent.
Good.
truly
How you-
feeling blessed.
Good.
Have
Well,
you
that's awesome.
have you tuned in here before? You familiar with me?
Yeah, I've watched you. I've watched you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome and thank you for joining.
Thank you.
I want to challenge this comment. I want to challenge the individual to challenge themselves with this comment. How do you claim to know what others are willing or not willing to listen to if we don't try? If we don't try, right, people aren't going to listen. But as I said, everything I'm saying it's simple and obvious, and I actually have faith that this is probably God's plans. A world without secrets and lies, right? The day upon the Lord would be the day the truth is no longer denied, where it's accepted and rejoiced. Seems righteous. And if you want to carry the prophecies further, right, the meek shall inherit the earth. Well, there's some who have risen to quite wealth and abundance, and if they simply transformed and repented from their selfish ways, were encouraged and supported to be more generous. Well, the people who've been struggling, meek in society, one might consider, they could inherit they could inherit that which they did not earn simply by people becoming more generous, more kind, more loving, more respectful in nature, like we're truly supposed to be.
Yeah, I watched you yesterday and it got me thinking about, I don't remember why. I just, sometimes I get, thoughts and, like back in the day, like, God forbid if someone's house like caught on fire, like the whole community, like I'm talking like back, like, probably before they had, inside bathrooms, but back in the day, a whole community would come and they put out the fire together. The fire people would be there too. And then the whole community would also help rebuild their house. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't, it wasn't, oh crap, my house is burnt and now I have no place to live. God forbid if you don't have insurance these days. But it was, your neighbors and your community would help you rebuild.
Yeah, that's one of the things that saddens me. People go through these natural disasters, whatever, weather disasters, everything's happening and everyone's in it for themselves. So many people go through these floods, tornadoes, lose everything, and they are dependent upon a corporation, someone's contract, someone's interpretation of a contract is an insurance company. It's a bunch of crap. We don't have to live in an evil world. And Daisy, here, I don't care what many have been trying for. It brought us to today. And today, if we don't face the corruption, it's going to continue. If we don't do something, what are we going to do? Just keep praying? Praying for what? Pray for answers. I've prayed for answers, and these are the answers that came to me. It's time for people to freaking grow up. Stop enabling corruption.
So,
All of us.
But yeah, for the legal secrets thing, it'd be easier for me to understand if someone like demonstrated not having legal secrets, so I can know what it looks like.
Well, no, you can imagine can you imagine a place where an employee comes in and they realize you
You froze up.
Yeah, he froze. I thought it was me. Yeah, he froze. It's like you're moving.
My signal dropped there for a moment. Thank you.
Say again.
My signal dropped.
Yes,
for a
yeah.
moment.
You started with you imagine. I didn't hear the rest of it.
Fully disclosed employees, right? So the lowest level employee knows the actual condition of the entire company, or they've at least got access to it. Where any employee of any organization, whether it's, you know, any business, any organization, as long as there's equal rewards and responsibility, as long as there's transparency, not only within the company, so the lowest level employees know what their bosses are doing in foreign nations. All of these employees going along with the atrocious business practices of these employees employed by shareholders. It's a system of greed that perpetuates greed, selfishness, and violence. The world doesn't have to continue it.
So here's where my confusion is. I work for a mega corporation. Are they supposed to be handing out the password to the equipment rooms and giving them access to everything in the offices too?
No, there's relevance. I mean, certainty, if someone's experience isn't related to the equipment or the back room. I mean, here, it doesn't have to be complicated. We just accept that life can be better if we're honest with each other, if we're kind, compassionate, we try and understand, we try to forgive. If we encourage each other like God really wants us to live in a better world, well, the world we experience, it starts and ends within us. If you defeat the devil within, we stop believing in excuses, we stop believing in limitations. Well, when you're whole and you're complete and you know you're aligned with God, well, I'm prepared to face the world's corruption. And I'm not asking for people to really get involved, but maybe be creative and see what kind of support you might be able to think of. It seems I've faced a lot of disagreements for quite a while. Not sure when it's going to be accepted that I'm not giving up on this, regardless of opinions or doubts. I don't know. Oh, faith. Yeah. Faith is not complicated. I love that you brought that up. Thank you. See, God is so perfect. Everything unfolds perfectly if we allow things to unfold perfectly. Faith isn't complicated. That part is true. However, the spiritual battle will rage on until each person decides to change. It doesn't matter what others do. All that matters is what we change within ourselves and then what we offer into the world to bring forth the change that we want. And faith is not complicated. What is faith? I love this. I don't remember where I got it from, but faith is holy strength. Holy strength comes through faith. And we had the example of Christ, Jesus, that demonstrated divine faith. We don't have to take revenge on each other. We don't have to seek punishment or destruction. And we sure as hell don't need to keep enabling the lies of media, the banking system, first of all. The banking system it's the tool of the devil, feeds the greed. Are we going to serve the devil or are we going to serve God? I seek to serve the Prince of Peace. Go ahead, Hank.
I'm not sure they're necessarily in conflict because who made the devil? God.
But we choose our patterns. We choose what we allow.
So I'm starting to understand what you mean. you don't necessarily against legal secrets, you're against illegal secrets, like stuff that we're supposed to constitutionally guaranteed access to, but don't. So you're against illegal secrets.
Here's how I came to the conclusion of secrets. I oppose lies, and I try to confront liars. It's a pattern I identified in myself a long time ago, and I've been working on myself ever since. So maybe I see it in the world. But what's behind every lie? It's a secret. It's a limitation. It's a false reason not to know or not to share what is real. And if people don't know what is real, what is true, they go along to get along. It's the herd mind, herd mentality. People have been conditioned to stay ignorant. People have been diagnosed to stay limited. But with the power of God, all limitations go away. There's an unrealized potentiality. We exist within a science can explain all of this stuff. I mean, these things can be explained in so many ways, but we are formed from and through and with a field of infinite energy and infinite information. The potentiality of this field is infinite, and that's at every point of everything. Everything will experience.
So I want to get this
So
quite
what's
clear.
your plan?
You're not.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're not asking Donald Trump to reveal the location of his security team members, such as snipers, but you're asking him to reveal his tax return like every other candidate, so we can know who's paying them.
Partially. Disclosure of who's involved. Go ahead.
I thought it was funny because I stopped. I know it sounds ignorant, but I mean, I keep up enough with the news, but I used to watch news a lot and I just couldn't take it anymore. So, I was like, screw it. I don't care. Ignorant can be bliss sometimes. But I do know, I do know, I keep up with certain stuff, I'm not like some stupid ignorant person, but I'm not like watching it every day like I was. But what I found interesting is I was watching the head of the security lady talking, and one of the guys had mentioned that did you deny, because I guess Donald Trump had Iran had been threatening him or whatever, and he had mentioned that we were the security, how they have colors for the security, or how what I'm talking about, when the colors, like it's the security of the country is. And he said our security is at our how do I explain it? The security level is like at the highest, like 9/11. I mean, like we're having he worded it. I can't word it right. I'm sorry.
The threat level.
Our security threat is at a high level, like red. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Has anyone ever said that? I was shocked that he said that. Did anyone watch the hearing?
I didn't watch.
Yeah, I was shocked. He said like our security level threat. Yeah, the threat. You know how they did colors is like at the highest it's ever been since 9/11. And I was completely shocked. I don't know if that's known or if it's just I was shocked.
Fear is a method the devil uses. Fear is a method that mankind has developed and been using to confuse and control people. So, yeah, I'm sure it's pretty clear and obvious. The war drums are escalating. The economic financial collapse of the United States, it's happening. They've been the printers of the fiat money, the monopoly money, they were pretty busy under old Donald Trump, if everyone seems to forget about that. There was also the response had to protect the economy after warp speed agendas.
Oh. Yeah.
Fear.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Well, it is interesting. Why aren't we doing something to end this nonsense? The threat securities de-escalate when peace is the purpose. But as long as mankind wants to stay at war with each other over lies and secrets, greed, selfishness, as long as mankind wants to continue playing those games, it's going to continue. I'm pretty sure that's God's will. We get to do what we want.
Yeah. I don't know.
I want to confront this on behalf of the world. I want to be a voice for the voiceless. I want to be one who shows all those doubters and disbelievers wrong. I want to find a way to get in front of the U.S. Congress, the citizens of the American government, the UN leaders. I want to speak to the world, because the world has become people of the world have become the world's greatest problem. What in the hell is it going to take? It's going to take God.
How do you plan to do that?
What's that?
I said, how do you plan to like do that? I mean,
Well, I've been trying
have
on
it
my
with
own
you?
since 2018 in many,
Oh.
many different ways. But as Jesus was, I'm confident that I am, that we are. We're all the same as Jesus. We're all here by God's grace, by God's will, and we are all at the mercy of the choices of those around us. So far, I haven't met a lot of people that are willing to actually, no, here, an observation I made earlier. It's by God's grace, the patience and compassion and support of those who I've experienced. By their grace, I've been allowed to live comfortably and even continue some of my unhealthy behaviors. I bought some cannabis again today. Part of my inspiration may have come from being high, but does it matter?
No.
Does it matter? What's that?
Not to me.
That's
But hey,
just like having a beer.
Well, I won't drink booze again.
No, I
And
know. I'm just saying it's I think it's way better. Alcohol is way worse than weed. So I'm just saying, it should be, I mean, can you imagine if it finally became federally legal and they made how much taxes that they would get and how much stuff that we finally pay for if we just legalized weed? I mean, federally.
Can you try and imagine a world where money isn't the focus?
Well, you have to, unfortunately, I mean, you have to have money to pay for things. That's just how it works.
Well, Jess, that's what I was talking about earlier.
I know.
Well, it's a satanic idea that we don't have to continue. It does not cost money for people to live or to share support or to share knowledge. It does not, except when people are selfish. The devil is selfish. Are we serving selfishness?
So you're talking about like a utopia, you want a utopia in trades.
No, I'm not focused on the result. I'm focused on what I do. I believe that God will allow wars to end and for the banking system to be honestly reassessed, not just by me, but by public hearing, public information. Hey guys, we've all been participating for generations in a Ponzi scheme. It's called the money system. We don't have to continue charging each other money to live. All we've got to do is choose to return to honor, choose to return to respect, and choose to return to love. That's the topic of today.
I understand that, but there's people that unfortunately, that sounds like, I mean, it kind of used to be like that. Like when when they traded, the natives would trade what they had, trade fish, trade weaving baskets, trade that, really not have money, but they traded. I mean, there
Well-
still was always a value system.
So
Okay.
the
It may not be
natives had,
money.
yeah, the natives had lots of wars with each other. So I'm not convinced it's gonna be that simple. But we could do better. We could easily do better than we have now. That's obvious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I mean, everything has, I mean, things, I mean, I'm not saying money. I understand what you're saying, but like,
Yeah.
there's always been a type of value of what people work. You know what I mean?
Okay,
If you're a
right.
farmer, then you
Jeff-
have your, you know,
Jeff, right. We're not primitive back then where we're out scavenging and hunting and gathering. We can take what we've learned and we can renovate the entire world very quickly simply by working together, overcoming selfishness and wage slavery.
Yeah.
Wage
Yeah.
slavery and wars are voluntary.
Yeah.
I mean,
We
that's
don't need to-
ideal. That's ideal, and that's like a utopia. But it's not. I mean, it's not gonna. It's not gonna. Sounds like communist, and that's that's where. I mean, you get that, and it breaks down.
Why would you assume? Why would you turn to fear? Turn to
I'm not
limitation?
turning to fear.
No, I don't think it's necessarily fearful. So we don't have to get rid of money. It's not per se. We just need to stop making it the focus on everything. We just need to.
Yes.
Yeah, so we keep money. We just don't want to make profit the center of every possible business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. We return honor, respect, and love the power instead of this nonsense of authority. You know, this is a if we don't spend our time creating a better world, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, before you create a better world, your side of the street has to be clean now.
Okay, Jess, do you have any
You understand what I'm saying?
questions? Is there anything relevant to hear? I mean, are
Wait,
you
the
I
Jack.
am.
Oh,
talking
Jack.
about yourself, Jess?
No, I'm
no.
talking about everyone, and I'm talking about. And you're saying you want everyone to be honorable and all this and this, and to work hand in hand together. And that's like, I have nothing. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm saying, but before you try to fix the world, before everyone side of the street, like your side of the street, yourself, you have to make sure you're clean first, or however you're taken care of first.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with Jess.
And then once that's all fixed, then you can. I mean, I understand what you're saying. It would be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is Jordan. This is what Jordan Pearson says. He
You
says, "Clean your
don't-
room."
Well,
Yeah,
I know.
I agree with that.
I know what others have said, and I've heard that excuse many, many, many times. Partial
not an
truth.
excuse.
What I'm suggesting is I know ways to heal yourself so that that's no longer an excuse or a limitation. And then we
What?
don't assume others can't do things because we've overcome things for ourselves. So then we have faith that others can do things despite some of their handicaps or some of their challenges. We have
Jack.
faith.
I think you're getting defensive for some reason. I don't think this.
Yeah,
There's no good reason to get defensive over this. She's just saying,
I'm not-
clean your room
just talking.
before you sit. Yeah.
I'm
I
having a
under-
conversation. I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying to be. I'm just having a conversation. I'm not trying to debate anything. I'm just talk.
Yeah.
I
I
realize
think it's perfectly reasonable to say clean your room before telling everyone else, well, you need to clean up the everything. It's the big ass.
I mean,
I
you're
understand.
you too.
I understand both of you. I'm not really defensive, but what I'm asking you to do is understand me.
I am understanding you.
Well, I don't believe that you are, because what I've been suggesting is that God has been allowing me to confront my fears, confront my devils inside, okay? So that I don't have any excuses anymore. I'm looking for anyone who's willing to believe that these ideas are worthy of people in Congress listening to.
Yeah, I agree. But
That's
not only
it.
do you have to confront them, you need to integrate them. You'll get more power from it. And that's why we got to keep our rooms clean so we don't fall over all the junk in there.
True, but there's many people that aren't actually honest. We live in a time of reception or projection. Every moment, what we experience outside is actually all meaning is coming from within us. Many people, the old adage, why are you pointing to the sliver in the brother's eye with your beam? You know, we project our behaviors, we cast our sins upon one another, and then we make excuses. And that's resulted in Joe Biden and Donald Trump will no longer, well, Joe Biden still getting paid for the job. Praise God. Praise God. Hey, you know what? I was inspired earlier. And again, I don't know the cause, but I know the result. The result is my heart is filled with praise of God, praise of the Almighty, gratitude for what was left, shown, and revealed through Jesus, right? He lived to glorify God, the Father, the Heavenly One. My prayer is to glorify Him, to walk today as a child of God, as He taught, becoming a peacemaker, right? Being a believer, one with faith in greater, one with faith in greater.
But this, do you even have like in this I mean, I understand. I mean, that would be that your idea is would be wonderful, like get money out of the equation and all that, and everyone just live. I mean, that sounds, that's a utopia, but that's, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, I won't say this, I won't be negative. I'll say, what is your plan to get there? Like, what's step one?
I'm living the life God has given me with joy, delight, happiness.
I mean, after
despite,
you,
what?
I mean, I should clarify. What's step one after you handled yourself or whatever? What's the step after? Because you're now saying you fought off the demons, and you're saying that your side of the street or whatever, you're clean or whatever. So now, like, what's the step after that?
Communicating. We're going to try to reach out to all the people in government and the lobbyists and the corporations. So we're going to try at least open line of dialogue. Then we'll be able to play from there, because it's a very big. It's a big thing. We can't overcomplicate the plan.
Yeah, I mean, do you even have, like, and he's like talking about a plan? Do you have like a notebook or whatever? I don't know. In the computer, what Word or whatever, like the plan, how to carry out this plan. Like, do you have what would it be, a manifesto or a writing or a I don't know what you would call it.
It's your question. It's your imagination. What
Well,
do you want to know?
I'm talking about your world. This is your world that you want, correct?
Right. Okay. So you started asking me what's the next step, but then you went off into your expectations of my next step.
No. Well,
So,
the next step, Kank said was to communicate, correct?
Correct.
Is that the next step, or is Hank wrong?
Well, I'm going to continue. That is correct. Yes, Hank is correct. Communication is what I've been attempting to do, what I've been studying and learning and observing. And so I feel that God has been preparing me to be a worthy communicator of the solutions that, well, number one, doesn't matter who's involved, but I'm sure Putin and Zelensky and then that Netanyahu character and others, they can tell their militaries to stand down. That can happen with some encouragement, right? Some support from people. So just what I'm going to continue doing is what I've been doing since 2018, ever since I started discovering God in my life. I'm going to continue to invite people to join me in my life. I get a lot of people who bring their life into my experience. And I get a lot of people who bring their disagreements and their doubts and their arguments and their accusations. But I'm looking for people who want to join me for who I am, as I am, with the belief that somehow, some way, when, oh, hey, sorry to keep going on, but not just what Hank was saying about reaching out to others online and such. I'm still trying to find anyone in Spokane, Washington who's willing to, who wants to have a conversation with me.
And after you have that conversation and they do like your plan, what happens?
I don't know. God will reveal whatever we decide to do.
Okay.
The
Like, I
idea
mean, I mean, how many people do you, I mean, ideally you would need everyone, but I mean, it's almost, it kind of sounds cultish. I'm sorry, but it does.
Yeah, it's good. We're gonna be honest.
if that's
We
your
don't know
excuse.
exactly how many.
I'm not
We don't
trying
know
to,
how many
you
we
know.
need. We don't know exactly how many we need, but we had to start somewhere.
No, I
Well-
understand, but I mean, it does sound like, I mean, it just sounds like kind of like a cult.
Well, is that what you want to believe? I mean,
What do you-
you're free to believe whatever you want, Jess. I don't really care.
I'm saying, I mean, I'm just saying that would be like, it sounds like a cult.
Well, I don't know why you'd assume that then. Why are you assuming the worst?
Who would be the leader? I mean, I don't, so you're going to
Yes.
get these people
Well,
together.
hello.
And
Whoa.
what's your
Where
next step with the people?
Where is your confusion coming from?
I'm saying, you're saying you want to communicate with people, especially in, you're saying, especially in your area,
Mhm.
right? You're going to get a group of people. Once you get the group of people, what is your plan to do with the group of people?
Well, I've explained this a number of times. My goal is not, well, here, this actually goes back to you got to fix yourself before you help someone else, right?
What?
Here, my life by the standards of the
Why
world
are
fell
you
apart.
saying-
Pardon?
that was like, I'm not mocking anything. I'm being like open to this conversation. And just like when you just mocked me right there, I don't understand.
Yeah, Jess has a really good point. I mean, you're being very defensive, and even if it is a cult, what's so bad about ending wars? What's so bad about it? I don't see a problem with it.
That's.
I mean, I'm just talking and having a conversation. And if you want to have a conversation with people, if you want people to join you or work on your plan or whatever, you're going to be questioned.
Right. Well, Jess,
you're not very good at it right now.
Hey, Jess and Hank.
See?
Right.
I mean, people are going to ask you questions. You can't.
Hello. You're a guest here. Please accept my interruption, Jess. Okay? Because I wanted to reflect back on what I heard from both of you who are in support of each other, but not really aware of what's happening with me here and now. Okay. So the defensiveness you experienced was actually in exchange for what I'm receiving from the two of you.
Oh, really now? Oh, really
No.
now? I point out exactly, let's see. You're denying it. I'm out. See ya.
All right, Hank. I love you, brother. Well, denial and
this isn't. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll once you're done, I'll talk.
Thank you, because that was another sign I was going to point to, is that you have your doubts and you have your confusion about what I'm saying. It's not clear in your mind. I get that. But you're asking questions unrelated to where I'm focused, things that aren't really helping you understand me. And so for you to claim that you're open, I'm seeing your closed mind, your doubts and your disbelief. You first narrated a description of the result that you can imagine, utopic. But then for whatever reason, you're not willing to entertain that thought as though it could be achieved. And then you want to distort me into wanting to be a cult leader and painting these expectations up.
No, I was just pointing out. I was just pointing out. I was asking you questions. I was having a dialogue with you. I didn't get angry at all. Hank was very kind too. You're the one who got defensive. Hank
Jess, are we competing? Are we competing?
No, I'm saying this. I'm explaining to you what happened. If you want people to join you, you got to be nice. You got to be kind.
Hello, Jess.
Yes.
Can you realize your part in the here and now with me? Can we just take a pause and take a breath? Just be at peace. Okay?
But you're making it hard.
I'm
I can't.
sitting here quietly.
Okay. But before, you
Okay,
were
can
not.
can you forgive me? Can you forgive me for what you want to believe about the past? Can you forgive me, please?
What I want to believe.
You clearly
I'm
want to believe
saying if I'm saying if you want people to join you, this
Mhm.
is not the way. People are
Do
going
you
to
think-
talk to you.
Right,
People are going to have questions.
Yes, right.
Yes.
Jess, if people want to join me, do you think they'll be telling me what I'm doing wrong? See, I don't think you want to join me. That's
No,
what I'm saying.
no one's telling you what you're doing wrong. I'm asking you questions.
Well, Jess, that's you see, you keep.
So if you get
Tell you what,
pushback from
tell you what.
someone,
Jess, tell you what, I'm sorry.
and it's very little pushback.
I didn't ask your permission. You don't seem willing to receive my feedback. I appreciate what you've offered. I do understand you, and so you don't need to repeat, please. I do understand you. I mean no offense, but if this pattern is going to continue by your choice, I'd rather continue some final words on my own. Okay?
What pattern? I don't understand.
I've been asking you.
What was the pattern? I mean,
Well,
all I was doing
Jeff,
was having a conversation,
mhm.
and so was Hank. Hank was nice. No, we were nice. We didn't do anything. You're the one who got frustrated. You're the one who mocked, and I understand. I mean, people
Hey,
are.
Jeff.
If you want people to join you, you're going to have to be way more welcoming.
Okay. Do you want to leave it at that then? Or do you want to find any resolve?
I don't think you want to resolve.
Why do you want to believe that? That's not giving me a fair chance, is it? That's not treating me with honor.
I was trying to talk to you about the situation that happened.
Yeah, please don't repeat. Please stop repeating.
I'm not repeating. I haven't even had a chance to explain anything to you.
Actually, what I've been asking you to look at is your behavior your memory does not actually match what I experienced. I've been trying to entertain some of your questions, but every time I try and answer, well, you ask questions and then you take off with answers. So you've been speaking more than listening. It's been frustrating, and I'm sorry that you chose to see me as unreasonable and not good enough, but I'm going to take a break welcome midlife. How are you, brother?
Good, man. Another day of people lined up around the block telling you that your methods are wrong. All your naysayers trying to tell you you're going to be unsuccessful. Another day of people pretending to care about you and trying to tell you that, oh, their way would be better if you would just follow them. But they're just taking time out of their day just to bring you down, Jack. Maybe because you're getting closer. I don't know, man. I don't know. I like the message. I think Jess said that he's not going to get followers. I'm a follower. I'm a follower of Talcott. Live without fear. That's what's up. Here I am. It got me. So apparently it works. Everyone wants to talk about him. Everyone's lined up the block around him. This guy's hot. If he was in LA, he'd be followed around by the TMZ paparazzi. Yeah, it's like the YouTube paparazzi chase you around everywhere you go, Jack Talcott. You're like the Kim Kardashian of YouTube. They just follow you around and take pictures of you and try to misconstrue your words and try to tell you what you want to do, you can't do. I'm sorry, what, Jess?
I'm trying to all I was trying was having a conversation. That was it. And I wasn't, his energy was not I was being calm, and then I just don't understand. If that's the way you want it, I just asked a question.
I mean, you want me to mediate? Yeah. Let me mediate, please. Jess, what is your question? Ask me.
All I wanted to know is what is your plan? Like, usually if you have this big old plan, you would, first of all, I would think you'd have like a notebook or whatever.
Jack, let me talk, please. Okay, he has a plan. He wants to go to Congress and promote world peace. That's the plan. That's the plan.
I've heard that.
Can you help him get into Congress?
His plan is no more money involved in things.
Your confusion comes from your false narrative, Jess. And
false.
Here, yes.
No,
Jess, please. I'm being polite. Midlife, thank you sincerely. And this, it's not so much about Jack. It's about that. Live without fear. It's about love. It's about God. That's what I'm about. Okay, Jess? So your question, should I find, my story has been bizarre. I'm trying to put the pieces back together in all of my past relationships. I've overcome my attachments to money and fame and all of this crap. The only thing I care about in this life is relationships. So if I can get one person here in Spokane to work with me, so I believe, we can get others involved. And since 2018, before I even bought the laptop, I knew I was 4 to 6 phone calls away through people who know me. People who know me in Washington, D.C. have connections to people in Congress, but just like online, and just like I have honestly shared and offered, people have been avoiding me and misunderstanding me for a long time. And I tell you what, I feel one with God.
I mean, there it is. Listen, Jess, I don't agree with everything Jack says. I don't know, living without money. I don't know maybe I'm not ready for that. But if he wants to go to Congress and promote world peace, I'm 100% on board with that. And that's good enough. And that seems like his major primary cause, I guess, if he's a one issue voter. That seems to be what he's preaching from the mountaintop, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm on board with that. I am on board with that.
Sure.
I don't, his success rate and all, that's, maybe not, probably not, but try. But it's definitely not going to happen if he doesn't try. And along the way, he may just spread a little bit of good as he goes, like Johnny Appleseed. But instead of planting apple trees, he's planting seeds of good and love and understanding towards men, and perhaps peace on a smaller scale. So why not, Jess? Why are you against? Are you against
I'm
this?
not against it. I was talking to him. I'm not against it. All I did was ask a little bit of questions, and I was very kind. And he's the one who started getting agitated.
What will it take for you to
it.
forgive me, please? I bet
I know. I understand. I forgive you, but I'm saying if you want people to follow you and they ask you, yes, I'm just saying.
Hey,
if you,
yes,
you're not listening. You're being patronizing.
Yes, there's a reason I'm interrupting. Okay.
Why?
Number one, this is my stream. You are a guest in my house. If you don't like the way you've been treated, please forgive me. You are free to leave. Okay?
I understand that. You asked me a question. I was asked a question.
Was I done? Was I done?
Okay. I was in the middle of answering a question, but go ahead.
Again, if you're not willing to allow some honor and respect to be shared between us, despite what you keep repeating of the past, I know you found offense in the way that I responded with you and Hank. Please forgive me. Can you give me another chance? Can you give yourself maybe another chance so that you can better understand what God brought you into? You're a part of my experience now. I'm at the mercy of you, Jess. Whatever you want to believe is true for you. And I love you either way.
Hank.
Yeah, I'll accept your apology and forgive you, of course. Not a big deal.
I know. Thank you, Hank. Hey, my words are genuine. I don't mean to cause offense to people, but I read this on a social media post somewhere. Something about the healer's paths. The healer's paths in this journey of life, we trigger egos. That's how people heal, is when they see themselves. And if we don't look at ourselves and what our part is in what we experience, then all we're doing is focusing on blame. And blame and excuses keep billionaires wealthy and men and women in starvation. And here's
Yeah.
part of my. Oh, go ahead, Hank.
Yeah, I think it's important that we just model the desired behavior. We just need to model it so everyone else can know what we mean.
I have just. Do you work at, or do you volunteer, Jack?
What are you trying to understand, Jess?
I'm asking if you volunteer.
I'm asking what the relevance of the question is. What is your definition
You
of
don't know the
volunteer?
relevance?
No. Why are I'm asking? That's why
I don't
I'm
understand.
asking you.
This is my point. You don't want me to repeat. This is my point. You want people to follow you, but people are going to have questions, and you're not going to want to answer them.
Yes.
You're giving me pushback. But I asked you, do you volunteer? People aren't.
Yes.
I mean, why do people just blindly follow you? That's.
Oh my
that,
God!
I mean,
Would you drop your?
be.
Hey, tell you what, you're no longer you're no longer welcome if you keep looping on that narrative. All you're doing is making excuses for your behavior, Jess. That is it. The reason I asked you to explain your question would have been very helpful for you in a practice of cooperation, Jess. I know you're projecting the hostility you're seeing. I'm doing my best to do what Hank said, to model the better behavior, okay? The reason I asked you to answer the question, to explain what relevance or what definition you were thinking of regarding volunteering, what does it have to do with me? Your confusion is for you to answer. But why am I answering about how I spend my time other than what is here and now or what's in the future?
Because you don't know what can you tell me what my narrative is, Jack? What my narrative is? What is my narrative?
No, you've offered no explanations for yourself, just opinions and accusations so far, Jess.
You said I have a narrative. Have you not? Yes, you have.
You keep
what is my narrative?
You keep repeating that you keep repeating that I allegedly have these expectations and I expect this and I don't want to be respectful. You've been repeating it many times, Jess. I don't pay attention to lies. You're
I'm sorry, Jack. I'm sorry, Jack. I'm sorry, Jack. I'm been watching this conversation. I don't know where you got that from. I'm gonna be honest. And you know I'm always a straight shooter because I help you with Margot.
Let's get into definitions, okay? Because there's the disagreements. When I said narrative, what is a narrative? A narrative is a story. The story you're telling yourself about our experience together, Jess, it's not productive.
Because you're making it not productive. You're blocking it. You've mocked me. You've pushed back. And you called me a liar just like 2 seconds ago. What do you expect?
Jess?
And you don't even know what my narrative is. I'm asking you simple questions. And they're agitating you. How do you expect people to follow you? People
I do not know. I actually do not know what Jess's narrative is. I mean, I'm a straight shooter. I help you with Margot. If they were lying, I would tell you. I don't see it yet.
If you listen to what I'm saying, I've explained it many times. So Jess, what is your narrative of yourself? How have you been in our time together here?
I've been talking to you about everything in your plan. I've been asking you questions about your plan. And when I ask questions, you push back and you get agitated. People aren't just going to follow you blindly. I mean, there will be people that follow you blindly. But people will have questions. Do you ask me a question? Do you want me to answer it or you want to interrupt? I mean, it's your show. That's fine.
Hello. Can you learn some self-control, young lady? Hank, I know you're entertained by the disagreements, but I don't understand what you are doing.
Yes, you do not understand what you're doing. What I want you to do is rewatch the stream and see what you're doing right now.
Hey, Hank, please follow that same advice. And here, what I want to ask Jess, you keep repeating yourself, so please, thank you for the timeout. Please forgive me for interrupting you, but I'd like you to explain my perspective of our experience. What am I experiencing from Jess? Or Hank, what do you think I'm receiving from Jess?
Who's the
Either
You
of
question?
should, Jess, you answer first. Then I'll answer after Jess.
I think you don't like pushback or a question. I don't
That's
understand.
not
I'm
what
trying to
I
have a
asked.
simple conversation. I'm trying to
No,
have a simple conversation.
you don't get
Can
to
I talk? You
answer
wouldn't even
what
let
I
me finish.
want, Jess.
You've called.
What am I experiencing
What?
from you? Not what you think I don't want. What do you think is my real life, honest experience with you so far? We just met today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. And for some reason, you're getting defensive because I asked you simple questions. I'm just having a
You're not
conversation.
answering. You're actually deflecting. You've been interrupting.
How am I deflecting? I'm asking. You want to make a plan.
Goodbye.
Okay, it's
I'm
my
done
turn
with
to
it.
yeah, it's my turn to answer. So what you're experiencing is pushback and confusion and resistance, and
How about accusations?
accusations. You're experiencing accusations, but she actually didn't make any yet. She didn't make any accusations.
You didn't hear her blaming me,
She did not.
accusing me.
No, she did not blame you or accuse you yet. She
What?
didn't.
How would you identify blame?
So, well, blame pretty much says you responsible for that thing. She did not assert that. She did not assert your responsibility for anything yet. She was just
Hank, brother, I love you, my friend. You're in denial as well. I encourage you. I'm gonna drop you out.
you're saying I'm in denial. Please watch this video because
Hank,
I've been trying to
Hank,
understand you for
Hank,
weeks. I have.
please, Hank, please go back and watch your own behavior, how you participated in enabling the confusion. And Hank, you've spent an awful long time with me, like many others, Flow State, Paul Enslaved, all of these others. Well, had anyone who's been spending time with me in the past offered some actual value towards these goals, Jess wouldn't be here today rudely interrogating me like others have witnessed Margot doing. For those who are a part of this story, Margot's insistent that I have everything written out and planned out. Thought I got rid of Margot. Jess, I don't need another attacker. I don't need more flying monkeys, and I don't need more people enabling disagreements around me. Because, brothers and sisters, God is with us today. See this bitterness. Go back, Hank and Jess, both of you, any of you, go back to the beginning. Listen to my monologue. See where I started. Faith, praise of God, God's perfection, God's glory, God's goodness. And what do I get in exchange? What do I get in exchange? Hank, God dog it. I really, really do not want to offend you, my brother, because you have been a true friend. And I hope you know I love you, Hank. I really do. And I'm grateful that God has allowed us to cross paths. But there is a greater future waiting for all of us. Brothers and sisters, the messages of today: humble yourself to God, God's power, God's glory. Consider the thought, what if God's will for you, what if God's will for you, God's desire for you is for you to be happy about everything you've been given? That breath is special. That breath, each moment, sustains our life here on earth. And brothers and sisters, right now, there's a lot of men and women, children breathing through pain, praying for mercy, praying for someone here on earth to do more. I've witnessed it. I've heard the pleas on the news. These people in Gaza and elsewhere, they're begging. Where is the world? What is going on? What has stopped people from stopping this atrocity? People have chosen to enable the devil of confusion, the devil of division. The devil is the opposer, the accuser. See, honest men and women, they discuss facts. They don't jump to the persecution and the belittling and the insults. Sometimes the truth is ugly. The truth will humble you, but please, for your life and the lives of those around you, humble yourself to the truth. The truth is God is with you. No matter where you are, no matter where you go, no matter what you think, God is with you. So don't fight it. Embrace that. Celebrate that. Know that wherever God is, God's fullness is, God's power, God's reach is endless. So if God is with you, celebrate the day. That is the gospel that Jesus was sharing. God's love is true. You get to choose. You get to choose every meaning. You get to choose everything you want to believe is a belief you want to defend. Let your beliefs go. Focus on being pleasant and good and attentive, aware at what each moment is revealing. Each moment is revealing new opportunities to learn, but we're not learning if we're defending old beliefs. Every war on earth right now is a battle against lies. Brothers and sisters, God is the truth. The truth is God. God is everything you want, everything you need. God is all you want to know, at least from my perspective. But who am I? I'm just a guy who's got nothing. I got no family, got no friends, I got no money. I got nothing, so they say. And some of them even say worse. What about you? Maybe people say worse about you. So what? You can overcome it. It doesn't matter what we think. It doesn't matter what we believe. What matters is what we do. And if we're not paying attention, we're not responding to life, right? And if we've allowed ourselves to be corrupted, I'm pretty sure God takes away our intelligence. God is so wise. God is so good. God truly is my best friend. And brothers and sisters, thank you again for joining Churchish today, sharing our temple of God with each other. The wisdom and the love, the potentialities of each of us has been shared today. And I look forward to what the future may bring. I think that was it. Hey, in fun, but reality, I never know who's going to see, who's going to think what, but let's see if we can inspire, nurture, encourage, create better leadership in this world. It doesn't have to be me, but I know a lot of people who know a lot about leadership, and I think the world deserves better than what's been happening. We don't have to enable the devil anymore. Not when we surrender to God. Brothers and sisters, thank you again. Choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless you. God bless us all. And by the grace of God, maybe we'll return again tomorrow, or maybe greater things shall happen. Peace. Doggone it. Wrong one. Peace to everyone.